Let's talk about what's happening in Ukraine. Now, since the beginning of war in Ukraine, Kyiv, it's been adamant about two things. Right. Seeking to join the NATO alliance, of course, and its resolve to not cede any territory to Moscow.
Yeah, and it has really been hell-bent on both these pointers. Now, however, these two don't seem to be going hand in hand with each other. How far is Ukraine willing to go to gain NATO membership? We are considering this question and analyzing it further. Right. In the latest, the Chief of Staff to the NATO Secretary General might have given a solution to Ukraine on how to join the alliance.
I mean, I'd hardly call it a solution. Now, the NATO Chief of Staff to Jens Stoltenberg, Sten Jensen, suggests that Ukraine may gain NATO membership in exchange for giving up some territory to Russia. And this may be part of the end to the war in Ukraine. That's what they're saying.
Now, the Chief of Staff gave these remarks in a panel debate in Arundel. Well, since the war broke out, Ukraine has lost several grounds to Russia. These includes the likes of Crimea and parts of Donetsk, Kherson, Luhansk, Mykolaiv and Zaporizhia Oblast. So if we go according to the comments made by NATO's Chief of Staff, or the comments which are coming in from NATO, if Ukraine cedes all of these territories, will it pave way for Kiev to get the membership of NATO? Is it willing to pay that kind of price to get that NATO membership?
Right, well, Sten Jensen, who is the Chief of Staff for NATO's Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg in Brussels, Stoltenberg himself has not been willing to discuss possible solutions for Ukraine after Russia's invasion. Now, the Secretary General has consistently said that it must be up to Ukraine entirely to decide both the time and the terms for any negotiations with Russia to possibly decide a resolution to this.
You know, this also highlights the fact that the West also wants to now get out of this confrontation, which has, of course, continued for is touching nearly 2 years now. Although when Stoltenberg's closest collaborator in NATO was asked if he believes ceding territory to NATO is the only way forward, Jensen pointed out that the discussion about possible status after the war is already underway and that questions about ceding territory to Russia is raised by others. He was quick to say that he is not saying that it has to be like this, but that could be a possible solution.
So clearly there seems to be a lot of back and forth on this as well. And even if Ukraine cedes its territory, any expansion of the military alliance, it must be agreed on, of course, as we know, by all members of the alliance.
Exactly. Although for Ukraine, one thing is clear. With Kiev still being actively involved in the war, it is a huge hurdle for Ukraine. Even the US president has said to consider Ukraine's membership for NATO, the war with Russia would come to an end. Now, this is because if Kiev was made a member of the alliance, then it will immediately draw the alliance into an active war.
Now, as under Article 5 of NATO's Washington Treaty, any attack on one ally is considered an attack on all, which NATO is currently unwilling to do as they try to shield their countries from a possible Russian aggression.